Hello student, in this video we are going to exploring how can we given a data set and a business problem, and we are able to leverage the different kind of data visualization skills to help the business leader see the insight from the data. So this case is about Haviland chocolate manufacturing, and so they are selling different kind of chocolate product. So they were fortunate enough to be able to tracing on the website and to look at what kind of products sold and what kind of browser the user used and what day they make the sales, etc. So ultimately, the business want to know, they want to use the sample data to determine if online shopper who spend more time and view more pages also spend more money during their visit to the website. They also want to understand the company would also be, company also want to investigate the effect that the day off, the week, and the type of the browser have on sales. So basically, the data is being offered. For this computer skill of this module, we actually will focusing on are we able to get the right visualization for different kind of problems or for to summarizing different kind of data. So therefore, we understand the business problems. So that's not our focus at this point. We just want to make sure the students are able to developing the right visualization. Okay, so therefore, there is the 6 following up sub questions. So the main goal here is to try to make sure students are understanding how to choose the right visualization. So in this video, we're going to look at the answer addressing the question number 1. Among 50 customers, how many uses different kind of the browsers? So basically, the ultimate goal we want to show the business owner is that for different browsers and how many users are using that browser among these 50 consumers. So let me show you the data set very quickly. As you can see, the 50 consumers are documenting here. So we totally have 6 columns. So the first column is consumer. So those are my element, right? The element is my consumers. And so for each consumer, we are recording 5 variables value. So the first variable is the day. So when they are, what the date they visited the online shopping platform, and then what kind of browser that person used, how many minutes they spent on the web page, and how many pages they viewed. The last is very important one for the business is how much money they spent. Okay, so for the first question, as we mentioned, so the business owner want to know how many uses different kind of browser. You can think about that leading to a lot of business decision making, right? So if the Chrome introducing more customer to buying or buy high amounts, so maybe you want to put advertisement on the user who are using the Chrome, right? So therefore, the business owner's goal is trying to focus on the column C here, so the browser. So we want to look at for each different kind of browser among these 50 customers, my samples. So how many of them are using Chrome? How many of them using others? How many of you use the Firefox? So basically, is try to ask us to summarizing or using data visualization to summarize the column C. Okay. So to answer this question, as many business analysts, data analysts, the first thing you want to do the visualization is try to understand what kind of data you're dealing with. Okay, so for the data called a browser, as you can see very clearly, so they are all categories. So they are my categorical data. Okay, based on the lecture, so if it is a category data, so the visualization we can use, including across the frequency distribution, and also even better one, the bar chart or pie chart. Okay, so therefore in this video, I will demonstrating how can we using the Excel to developing the frequency distribution and then convert to relative frequency and percent frequency. And in our next video, I will show you how can we converting our frequency table to our bar chart and pie chart. Okay, so let's do it together. So in order to creating our the frequency distribution, in this class, we'll focus on using the method called the pivot table method. So what I usually like to do is I will just basically select every data I have in my data set. Although in this exercise, we only need to focus on the column C. So by selecting everything, and then I will go to click Insert. And then after that, I will click pivot table. And so you can place your pivot table in the new worksheet. That's usually what I do. And feel free to put in existing worksheet. But for me, I prefer new worksheet. So I'll place it in a new worksheet. So I will just click OK. Okay. So as you can see on the right hand side, okay, on the right hand side, this area, so you are able to see the pivot table field. So that's the field I will play around. So if you think about our frequency distribution, so basically it will be having two columns, right? The first column will be different kind of browser's name, and the second column will be the frequency of how many customer in using each kind of browser. So what I will do is I will find the column C, the browser, which is here. So the reason you are able to see those titles, customer, day, browser, day, time, and minute, is because when I initially selecting the data, when I initially select the pivot table, I including the label. So it is a very important step. When you are creating pivot table, you have to always make sure you are including the label rows. So now what I will do is I will click the browser, and then I will drag it down to rows. Okay, after I did that, on the left hand side, you can see on my Excel, it's immediately list all the unique value for the browser. So basically in this data set, the 50 customers, we only found 3 different kind of browser, Chrome, Firefox, and others. Okay, so this is my first column for the frequency distribution. So now we are looking for how can we adding on the relative frequency. So in order to do that, what we need to do is you can drag the browser one more time and then drag down to the value. So once you drag down to the value, so you will be able to see that it's the count of the browser. So this is what we are looking for. So as you can see, among the 50 customers, we have 27 of them using Chrome and 16 of them using Firefox and 7 of them use other browsers. So basically majority of customers are using Chrome. Okay, so this is how we're getting frequency distribution. So you can see this is the table visualization. It's very easily allow us to see how many users are using different kind of browser, right? So how about the owner want to see what percentage of the customer using Chrome, what percentage of customer using Firefox? Since if your sample size is representing the population, maybe it makes more sense to actually showing the percentage of the user using Chrome, Firefox, and others versus now we see is a head count, right? So to do that, we need to converting our frequency distribution to relative frequency distribution. So in order to do that is we are going to one of the value under the column. So they count, right? So at this point, we are choose one of the counting value, right click the mouse, and then we move down to summarize, so show value as. So if we change it to percent of grand total, so after we change to percent of grand total, so that gave us the value is considered as a percent frequency distribution. So now you can actually based on your sample data to talking about population. So basically for this chocolate restaurant, chocolate factory, chocolate shops, so 54% of the online shopper using Chrome, 32% the online shopper using Firefox, and 14% of them using the others. Okay. So that is how can you converting the frequency distribution to percent frequency distribution using Excel. It's very convenient. You don't really need to using your high school method, basically just counting how they look like. Okay, so this is the end of the video. So like I said, in next video, we're gonna look at how can we creating bar chart and the pie charts. And